Hey, Jeff McKinney, don't make fun of my hair. It's been a long day.
Jeff McKinney, tweet about his hair. Get a screenshot, actually.
You guys are the best.
we like.
Excuse me for taking a shower.
Well, you didn't do it for the benefit of us. We can't smell you, so
smell you later.
Yeah, I got so pitted. Okay. Tonight we'll be discussing Corny Beer's Patreon challenges and something Oatmeal Stout.
Just put that.
Okay.
For those flaming hot Doritos?
Or yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada.
Blah, blah, blah. Because
we put all the effort.
We're drinking Oatmeal Stout. Yeah, that works.
John, what do you think? Pikes Peak, Summit House, Oatmeal Stout, or Winter Warlock? Which one first? I can't decide.
Well, I've had Winter Warlock. I've never had the other one.
The Warlock, is that high octane or no?
No, they do like a laser guided one that's high octane, but this one's, I don't think it's that big.
Like 6. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, just go whichever one has a higher ABV. Yeah.
Summit House Stout it is. All right. What was there an article, or are we just skipping it?
If we got to it, the thing about how Bud Light is attacking corn syrup.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I can get behind that.
And that story hasn't died yet. So, and I don't think it's going to for a little bit.
No, because it's so stupid. Like, at what point did somebody not go? You know how yeast works, right? Okay. All right. Let me make sure I'm recording. Get the Doritos off my spit gut.
Oh, Dimitri's watching. What's up, dude?
Hey, Dimitri.
Hey, Dimitri.
He said he just got home from hockey and his hair looks better than mine.
Oh, okay. We have to fit hair somewhere into the title of this week's show.
No, I'm not gonna stand for it, Dimitri. You don't get to watch now. You close your eyes when you listen to us live.
That's a compliment, man.
If you just got back from hockey, you mean I know? Yeah. Well,
hey,
I know what my hair smelled like after playing.
We're not talking about smell. We're talking about flow, dude.
Here's my impression of hockey hair.
This is
hockey hair. Hey, I'm Sidney Crosby.
All you gotta say,
you're doing it right. You're whining.
You just gotta say you got mad flow.
Yeah, I got mad flow, dude. I was out skateboarding today, so I took a shower because I'm a really intense skater.
I was gonna say, boy, you really worked up a sweat there in that 55-degree weather. Riding around on
this rough, man.
Bowls.
You should have seen it. Like, there were mountain peaks 30 miles away that had little frosted tips. look like Christian Slater in 1996.
Hey, that's kind of what your hair looks like. All right, I think everything's recording. So we ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Let's get pitted.
Shaman. Flop, flop.
Hi, this is Chris Wright. I'm the founder and head brewer at Pikes Peak Brewing Company. You're listening to We Like Drinking, where you never drink alone.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
This week on episode 213 of the We Like Drinking podcast, we'll be discussing corny beers, Patreon challenges, and something, blah, 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 because we're drinking oatmeal stouts. So
Grab a spoon.
crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking. Man, Solomon, crushing the intro tonight, bro.
Thanks. I think I crushed my vocal cords.
You know, it's like whenever, for as long as we've had that intro, when it gets to that music part, I always go 2, 3, 4, and then it hits. And when you do 1, 2, 3, 4, it just sounds like you have no idea what you're doing, and it's all kerfuffled and makes no sense.
Well, you know what's great is that even though we use the magic of Google Hangouts when we do this, and it doesn't seem like there's a delay, there is. And I tell you what, when I do the 1, 2, 3, 4 in my head, it's perfectly timed. And then I go back and listen later. I'm like, oh, come on, Google, you could do better.
That's right. Fix your shit, Google.
Blame Google. That's what I always do. So now I intentionally should try to be off in order to match
and then
it
you
up.
probably just nail it.
Yeah. It'll be
What
perfect.
are we doing? Well, cheers, my podcast drinking friends, and welcome to Happy Hour 213 of the only 2-time award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast focusing on John Ruyak.
Fun.
Yeah, we focus on fun. We don't focus on John Ruyak. The show would be 10 minutes and it'd be really
By the way, there is another 2-time award-winning topical beer and wine podcast, but they just don't have any fun. So
That's right.
we found our niche
That's right. We only appeal to people that enjoy fun.
while being 2-time podcast award winners.
I was all excited because I thought 213 was a prime number, but it's not.
Oh,
Again, the whole show focused on John Ruyak. It would not be fun.
it is episode 213, so don't worry. We'll be doing plenty of Nate Dogg and Warren G tonight.
But two is a prime number, 1 is a prime number, and 3 is a prime number, but 213 isn't a prime number.
What's it divisible by, aside from 1?
What's that? 71. 71 times
Shit,
3 is
of course.
213.
Of course. 71 is my arch nemesis. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So
Watch out for that shit.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if you like what you're hearing in this episode so far, consider helping us out by becoming a patron of the show. Visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to get in on this action. We talk about prime numbers most of the time, so it's pretty fun. All right, so you keep hearing us talking. I'm sure you want to find out who we are and what we're drinking. So let's do that. Yeah, John, I know we won't talk about what we're drinking yet. John, or
What?
no?
Hi.
That's not how we do it. Let's say hi to our award-nominated wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
Hey, that's me. That really happened one time.
Our craft brewer, John Ruyak.
Hey. I'm sorry I went out of turn. You know, it happens.
It's because it was my fault. And I'm your host, something, blah, blah, blah.
That's Jeff Eccles. He's a certified specialist of wine.
Oh, you remembered. That's right.
Right?
Okay. So this month, folks, this is one of our monthly tasting episodes. This is a beer month. John Ruyak, why don't you talk to us about what we're drinking tonight?
Tonight, well, we put it out to our Patreons and we gave them 4 choices, and the winner this month was Oatmeal Stout. And that was nice.
Yeah, I was pleasantly
I thought that was very. What's that?
I thought I was pleasantly surprised with that one.
Yeah, yeah. We, thank God Four Loko beer wasn't on the list.
It will never be on the list. I vowed to never put that on the list.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, we're all going to be drinking a couple of different oatmeal stouts.
Excellent.
So, we brew an oatmeal stout at Lizard Tail.
Nice.
However, today we ran out. So I wasn't able to grab a squealer or a growler of that. If you've been following the podcast, you know I'm pulling my hair out trying to keep up with 2 tap rooms, and just happened to be out of oatmeal stout as of this afternoon, and it won't be ready for another week. So anyway, I found myself at my local grocery store looking for singles of oatmeal stout, and I was lucky enough to do that, and I found a Breckenridge Brewing oatmeal stout, which is oddly enough called oatmeal stout.
That's the one with the moon on it, right?
Yeah, with a sleeping cap. And I also, why not? I got a Founder's Breakfast Stout, which is also an oatmeal stout, but it's on the upper end of the range. So I enjoyed it before, but it's been a long time since I had the Breckenridge, so it's nice to see the Rocky Head in my glass. What are you guys drinking? What do you drink? What'd you find at the stores at the retail outlet, Mr. Solomon?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I would have got that Founder's Breakfast Stout because I love that thing so much. Instead, what I got was I got a 4-pack of cans from Jackrabbit Brewing Company. They did a collaboration with Temple Coffee Roasters. This is their oatmeal stout with mullish coffee.
Ooh.
And then in my glass right now, I do love oatmeal stouts that have like coffee and other things. That's why I like the Founder's Breakfast. But to get things started, I went with more of a classic. This is the Anderson Valley Barney Flats Oatmeal Stout. And, they've been bold horning since 1987.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. You heard Chris right at the beginning of the show. I happen to have one of his beers here. I've got the Pikes Peak Brewing Company Summit House Oatmeal Stout. And then I did see an Imperial Oatmeal Stout, but I passed on it because I went all Colorado Springs today, and I'm going with the Bristol Brewing Company Winter Warlock Oatmeal Stout. Limited release. Yeah, John, you know about that one. So
yeah,
I'm starting off with the Summit House and then moving on to the Winter Warlock. So
nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're doing it right. We're starting with straight up oatmeal stouts, and Solomon and I have some extras to go on maybe our second one. So I think that's the right way to do it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do we want to know about oatmeal stouts? Why?
Nothing yet.
Nothing
yet.
No.
No, we don't want to know anything about oatmeal stouts because first we have to prime our brains with wine, beer, or pop culture reference. So this is where John is going to give us a term, and we're going to try to figure out if it's a wine term, a beer term, or some kind of pop culture reference. Take it away, John.
Well, let me find my notes because I had.
No.
Oh no, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
No, because you said, "Let me find my notes."
Check out the flavor that I wrote.
I don't think John gets that joke.
No, probably not. Probably not. I wasn't sure which to go with, so it's going to be a little bit of a throwback. So,
pop culture reference.
Hop. Sorry, John. Please
don't steal my thunder when I haven't even flashed the lightning yet.
The reason why we used to make Eccles hosted every single time is because he's such a child when he's actually competing. It's garbage. Give the man some space.
All right. Well, this week I'm gonna give these guys a term, and they're gonna try to guess whether it's something to do with wine, something to do with beer, or some sort of pop culture reference. So the term this week is warrior. Warrior. So, let me pick straws to see who goes first this week. This week, I think it's Solomon goes first because I picked on Eccles last time I did this.
John, I'm glad you brought up Warrior because it makes me think back to the 1980s when I had to go into the Cow Palace against King Kong Bundy and George the Animal Steel in a three-way steel cage over the top rope, no holds barred duel to the death.
Is it a folding chair or is it like a Queen Anne chair?
Obviously, when you're saying warrior, you're saying that this is the Ultimate Warrior, the late great Ultimate Warrior from the WWF. It's a pop culture reference, unless, of course,
Yeah, right.
you were thinking about the hops variety. Warrior is a dual purpose hop. It's coming in at like 18 alpha omega 3 fatty acids.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right.
So we have. So what is it? Is it a pop culture reference or
I'm
a hop?
saying a hops,
Okay.
hops
All right.
variety.
All right, Eggles.
Oh, you changed your answer, Solomon. It's funny. As soon as you said warrior, I'm like, okay, whoever goes first is going to say hops. And then the next person is going to have to say the Ultimate Warrior pop culture reference. But Jeff took care of both of them.
Yeah.
So I guess I will just my
There's
gut
still an
reaction-
80s movie that you could reference.
That's true. If I had three
Basketball
bottles,
team.
if I had three bottles, I could start banging them together and say, "Warriors, come out and play!" Yay! But no, I too. It could be the basketball team too. I mean, there's so many things you could go with this. But I will also go with the hop variety because John did say it's kind of a throwback, so I think he's throwing it back to grape, hop, or pop culture reference. So I will also say hop. Final answer.
I shouldn't have. Okay, I shouldn't have given that clue out. I was trying to go with the dual term, and I was trying to get you guys confused about that, and it didn't work. Damn it! I'm still trying to find one where it covers all three, but I'm not having any luck yet.
I am certain there is a wine named Warrior out there.
Sure.
Dimitri, who is watching live on this Wednesday night at welikedrinking.com/show, says in the comments that Warrior is also a brand of hockey stick. And did you know that when Dimitri plays hockey, his hair is untussled? That's because he sits on the bench.
We had a teammate, Dave, who used Warrior sticks.
Yeah. We could have also gone with Xena Warrior Princess. Could have been.
Well, I wasn't going that far. I was just trying to. Anyway,
I
tried to throw a curveball. I guess I tipped my pitch.
Take us out, John. Give us the term one more time.
Warrior.
It's a smooth flowing show tonight to go along with Dimitri's and Jeff
I wasn't sure which one to go with, but I'll save this other one for next time. So
all right,
that's what 3 weeks down the road.
All right, so I am excited about this. Oatmeal Stout is one of my faves any time of year, but I know nothing about it, John. So why don't you educate us a little bit about the OS?
Oatmeal Stout. So it's stout, and it's got oatmeal in it.
All right, excellent.
I want a historication.
Well, I'm getting to that. I jest just a little bit, but so here the thing is that way back we've talked about porters, we've talked about stouts before, and way back in the day, Guinness was called Guinness Extra Stout Porter. They dropped a porter designation way back in the early 1800s and just went with stout because it was a little bit stronger than the porters at the time. But for the longest time, dry Irish stouts were the main style, and people were getting jazzy about some dark beers, but they wanted something a little different. So particularly in England, this is an English style. They started adding oatmeal. Oatmeal's pretty common, does well in cooler climates, as does barley. So there was lots of oats in the English, in the British Isles, Ireland included. But so they had this extra fermentable grain that they decided to start throwing in the beer. And there were times farther back where there were some beers that had a higher component of oats than than in particular these beers now. Generally speaking, these days, oatmeal consists of about anywhere from 5 to 10% of the actual weight of the grains in the mash bill. The issue with oatmeal is its benefits are also some of its drawbacks. So oats are a lot more protein, much like wheat in a beer, a higher protein content, and it glutenizes and you can get soluble glutens in the beer, which adds to mouthfeel. But the other thing is there's a lot of oil in oats. It's an oily grain, so the protein adds to the head retention of the beer. You get a nice rocky head on your beer, and it stays there for a long time. However, oil combats that. Oil is not good for head retention. So there's a balancing act there. Oatmeal stouts tend to be sweeter, have a little bit heavier body than your dry Irish stouts. Hence the name dry Irish stouts, or that's the style. Oatmeal stouts are a little sweeter, a little heavier body, a little bit more, I don't know, satisfying to an appetite, right? So now they tend to have a roasty character, which lends itself, they're stouts, but it lends itself to continue drinking. It's a complex palate, so it's enjoyable to drink, but it's not, they're not supposed to be overly bitter, so that you shouldn't get some palate fatigue there, and they shouldn't be extraordinarily strong either. They should generally fall in that 5 to 7.5 to 8% range, so that you're not, well, an 8% beer is not really a session beer, but certainly a 5% beer can be, certainly.
In John's house it is, but
well, Russian Imperial Stouts are session beers in my house.
Right.
So going back to using oatmeal as a grain, would it be safe to assume, with all the protein, with all the oils, if one were throwing oats in like a pale ale, would that like instantly make it hazy?
More than likely, yeah. You're going to get there's more soluble glutens in oats than there are in barley. So the glutens are a little bit different. Think about a bowl of oatmeal. It's pretty pasty, right? So when you throw that into the mash, and that's one of the reasons, for at least for the longest time, before the availability of rice hulls that you use in wheat beers to help filter it, not a lot of people used oatmeal in home brewing until rice hulls became a little bit more available, so that you're not getting a stuck mash. So you're going to have problems with your filter bed and getting the wort out of your mash tun and into your boil kettle if you're not careful, or if you have too high of a percentage of oats in your beer, in your mash bill. So
a lot of our listeners have most likely had a Guinness. So they've got that in their head right now, their brain. They're visualizing the Guinness stout, the dry Irish stout.
Right.
So with the oatmeal stout, walk us through what the differences are going to be between those two styles of beer.
Well, you're going to get
a little bit, but let's kind of dial it in.
Okay, so you're going to get a little bit more mouthfeel in this. I mean, it's not going to. Now, there's a lot of flavor that goes in when you're drinking a Guinness, right? But when you're done, I mean, you don't feel any, residual sugars. So you're going to get some residual sugars, and there is a perceptibility of the oil content from the oils in the oatmeal. I mean, you can certainly feel it, if not taste it per se. So that you're still going to get the roasty character you get out of a normal stout. You should have some coffee flavors. You should have some chocolate flavors. Those are all normal in darker beers, and we expect that. But with the oatmeal stout, you really want to have that added body, something that it's just more substantial. It's that simple, I believe. There are other adjuncts, and we talked about this before. There's milk stouts where they add lactose, and those can be cloyingly sweet. McKesson is a pretty famous one in England. There used to be oyster stouts where they put crushed oyster shells in the boil to give a little bit more lime, and you get a little bit more hoppy contrast in that. So different reasons for that. Not so much the flavor of oysters, but just the extra calcium in the beer adds some different levels of hoppiness and minerals that interact with hop compounds. But I mean, oatmeal stout, a bowl of oatmeal is substantial. A good glass of oatmeal stout should be the same.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, you looked like you had a question.
Oh man, I have so many questions. So apparently what I'm hearing is that if I have celiac, I shouldn't be drinking oatmeal stouts.
More than likely, that would be very true.
And the other thing, I know this is the oatmeal stout episode, but you say not anymore. We're not seeing oyster stouts around anymore.
I can't think of. I mean, the last one I believe, as I was looking at some beer histories, were brewed back in the early 1980s, maybe late 1970s.
Okay.
Now, it may be something in England that's going to revive itself with the craft beer movement there. So we'll have to see, but I'm not aware of one.
I honestly can't remember the last time I've seen an oyster stout.
Yeah,
I feel like I've seen one around. I never picked one up, but and it was more like New World, like it might have been like Rogue that did it. Gosh, I'm just thinking with all these things, like with oysters and with gluten, I just feel like, gosh, I guess if you have like dietary restrictions, like maybe this isn't the podcast for you.
Jeff, why are you always looking for reasons for people to not listen to our show?
Oh, it's fun. it's just a good old time. No, I have to say, like, John and I were kind of talking before the show. It's like, what are we going to talk about with oatmeal stouts? They're tasty. It's really good. It's a stout with oatmeal. It's delicious. It's like you're drinking beer, but it's also a hearty breakfast. It gives you energy. It helps lower your cholesterol. It's good for your diabetes. It just seems like it just, I think the name speaks for itself, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Like I say, we make an oatmeal stout. So our mash bill is 175 pounds for that, and I put in 8 pounds of just rolled oats. It's just plain old rolled oats, like you would make, boiling in milk on the top of your stove. But it's 8 pounds of it. I don't put it through the mill; it just goes straight into the mash tun. Now we also use something called golden naked oats, which, funny enough, aren't oats. It's actually barley with the husk taken off, and it's baked. So it gives a nice caramel flavor, an additional sweetness to the beer. So we put golden naked oats, which aren't oats, and real rolled oats in our oatmeal stout.
So wait, how many pounds of rolled oats do you add?
8 pounds and 175 total. So it's about 5. It's just short of 5%.
How long have you been working at Angry Lizard now? Angry Goat, Lizard Tail. How long have you been working at Lizard? A year. So how many batches have you done of your oatmeal stout?
5.
5 times 8. 40 pounds of rolled oats. At some point, are you getting kind of sick of Hall & Oates?
Hashtag dad.
I just walked right into that, didn't I?
Did that one just come to you, or did you cook that one up midweek?
I was just thinking, it was just kind of fun.
All right, let's taste these things. With that,
she's a rich girl, and she's got to. Sorry,
but you know it don't matter anyway.
You can rely on your man's money. You can rely on your man's money.
Oh my goodness! All right, I can't even. Let's go to Jeff Solomon for the first tasting.
Hey, so I am drinking the Anderson Valley Blarney Flats Oatmeal Stout. This came in a 22-ounce bomber, and it is dark to the arc. I apologize because I am battling a little bit of a cold here. So on the nose, really, I'm smelling like Flonase right now. My nose is toast right now. And so, but I guess here's the thing that's kind of neat as I just go straight to the palate, as you talk about the mouthfeel of an oatmeal stout, I think that's one of the real appeals here, because like a Guinness, it's dark, but it's light at the same time and very crisp, and yet because of the oats, because of the proteinaceous and oily and viscous nature of it, the mouth feels really fun. So like even if you're like battling a cold, you can really enjoy that mouthfeel.
But it's not as thick as Dimetap or something like that. Right?
It's not, but it is hella thick. Like it coats the entire inside of your mouth.
It does. And I am picking up on this quite a bit of the residual sweetness that's there, but it is because it's oats. It's a different type of sweetness. Like it's not cloying, it's not sharp. It's just like it's honestly like, put a couple dried oats on your tongue, and as the sucrase in your mouth starts to break down those polysaccharides and slowly release that sugar. I mean, it's very pleasant. I like it quite a bit. I can imagine a film building up. I have a dentist appointment on Friday. They're gonna love this. Why would I brush my teeth before a dentist appointment?
Yeah.
Especially
3 days before.
Yeah.
Gargle with some oatmeal stout.
I mean, and man, what a breakfast stout this would be too. Some bacon.
We should have made breakfast for tonight.
We really should have. This should have been the breakfast and oatmeal stout episode.
That would have been so good.
It really would have been really.
While I'm listening to this on Friday morning, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
I will go through the Starbucks drive-thru and I will be eating a sausage sandwich while thinking about.
Oh, I was like, where are you going with this, bro?
Yeah. Just get a cup of coffee, pour most of it out, dump a stout on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Make your commute a little quicker.
Get all pitted. All right.
Just like splat. We are absolutely not suggesting nor condoning nor ever thinking that drinking and driving would be a good idea, but
no.
It's a funny thought. Sorry.
John Riek.
So I've got this Breckenridge oatmeal stout, and just the roastiness is just it's music to my nose, right? It's just phenomenal. It's a pity that you can't. I tried to hold up the Rocky Head that I poured, and this is how many minutes into the show are we? We started recording 20 minutes.
452
minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
we've been going for a while.
Okay.
We're probably 20.
Right. So I mean, I've still got a decent head on that beer. It's not as rocky as it used to be, but that's the protein holding that up. And I did want to say something about the carbonation on stouts. And we talked about this way back in our porter, where you said, remember, Eccles, you said, why do some porters taste like there's pennies in it? Right. And I said, it's overcarbonated in many instances. And the reason for that is it's, carbonic acid is sharp and got that kind of sharpness to it. But dark malts have a lot of acid in them too. So a dark beer is pretty acidic in and of itself. And to add more acidity to it by overcarbonating it, it's overkill. So dark beers really should not be carbonated as highly as And it's not a visual thing. It's not like your IPA where you see the bubbles rising out of it. You can't see them.
Mhm.
So, but you also don't want the extra carbonic acid adding to that sharpness of the flavor that you get from the dark malts to be from the beginning. So anyway, you just the taste of this is just really nice. It's just got a roundness that you don't get from a Guinness or a Murphy's or a Beamish. You know, it's just got that. It just lingers it lingers a little bit more. Like you said, it's coating your mouth, and you know, I'm gonna have to brush my teeth a couple extra times to get the dark coffee stains from my beer off. But yeah, and really the bitterness on this is very, very balanced. I like this this oatmeal stout. I've had it before, and I'm not always been a very big fan of Breckenridge Brewery, but this is a well balanced beer. So I'm not sure what the IBUs are in this, but I would imagine it's somewhere in the mid 30s. And this is a flat 5% ABV.
Nice.
So
So definitely sessionable.
Hey, so I do have a question about production. Our friend Dimitri is writing in from the airport right now, and he's saying, my oatmeal stout is from England and brags about being fermented in open-topped stone Yorkshire squares.
So that's Samuel Smith.
What the hell does that mean?
So Samuel Smith Brewery, and they were the lone producer of oatmeal stout for a long time before the American craft brewing scene took oatmeal stout under its wing. And yeah, they were the only thing for a good 10 or 15 years on the planet. But they do apparently have these slate brewing Yorkshire squares that they, you know, brew their beer in. So
is it like it's a cube, like a big like cubic vessel, like that? Okay. Sam Smith, eh?
Yeah, that's a little odd because cleaning corners is rough. I mean, you know, that's why most fermenters are round. It's a lot easier to clean something that's round than it is to clean something.
It's odd that he's also like this amazing like international musician.
Samuel Smith.
You say I'm crazy. I don't think you're something that stuff.
Maybe
when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one.
Maybe they have a special tool or something like that when they're cleaning it, and they call it gleaming, and they're able to gleam the cube very well.
Shaw.
I imagine they clean with steam, but anyway, yeah.
Well, there has to be like house strains of yeast in the nooks and crannies of the Yorkshire squares.
You'd think. All right, so
Yorkshire squares kind of sounds like a breakfast cereal.
It sounds like a chocolate and peppermint candy.
All right, so I'm getting into this Pikes Peak Summit House Oatmeal Stout. Before I get into it, John, though, why don't we see oatmeal stouts on nitro? Is there a reason behind it, or just nitro is such a pain in the ass that nobody wants to do it?
Nitro was a pain in the ass. Okay. And, you know, Guinness does it so well. And we talked about it before. Nitro destroys, you know, hops. It just takes them out of the equation completely. And for an oatmeal stout, with the oil that's in it and the protein and the mouthfeel, you really want to, you know, you don't want to get a lot of hop character, but you want to know that they're there, right?
Okay.
I would, you know, almost venture to guess that it's either Nugget or East Kent Goldings that are in every single one of these, because that may be some Challenger, but you ought to be using British hops, maybe some Northern Brewer. You give it a little minty. So if you get a little mintiness out of something, you might have a little Northern Brewer hop in it. But yeah, you wouldn't want to destroy that nice hop balance with with the mouthfeel that you need to kind of have a balanced product by doing that on nitro.
Okay.
My opinion only.
Okay, so I'm getting into this Pikes Peak. Not much, not much head on this one. It's dissipated pretty quick, but similar nose. It's got that coffee. You can almost smell the breakfast there. There's, you can smell the weight to it, if you will. Like it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's like you can smell that you've got something big coming your way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, and on the palate, like I take a big mouthful of this one and then I swallow it. And if I run my tongue across the top of my mouth, it's like I'm peeling away another layer of that's how well this coats your palate. Like you move your tongue from the back to the front and top of your mouth, and there's like some gristle coming down on your teeth.
Dude, I was doing the exact same thing myself while you're talking about it. I'm like, damn, he's doing this. He's telling me yeah, that's just weird.
It's just shocking, like the weight of the wine and how long it just stays on your palate. Like minutes later, you're still like, yeah, man, there's still some stout hanging out in there in the nooks and crannies, like it was a Yorkshire square in my mouth or something like that. So fabulous job by Pikes Peak, by all these oatmeal stouts. I love these beers to death, and super excited that Patreons let us drink them tonight. So yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of variation. It's just going to be a matter of execution and overall quality and the balance. It's a balancing act. It really is. It's not like an IPA where you just throw hops in and
how difficult of a balancing act is it? We've talked before about, get an amber, get in. I think maybe the head brewer Lizard Tail was somebody that says get an amber, because if they have an amber and they do it well, that's a good brewer. Whereas an IPA, you just throw everything in and you get what you get. So where does an oatmeal stout fall on the difficulty range?
It's a medium hard brew, okay. As far as a recipe goes. It's not as difficult to get the balancing act out of a really light bodied beer like a golden ale or something like that we make, or the subtlety of an American wheat. I mean, you've got a lot of flavors going on here, but you want to make sure that everything plays well together. You don't want something to overcome the other thing. So it really is you want to make sure everybody plays nice in the glass.
All right.
So it's not an easy one, and I think it was one of the recipes Dan needed a good 5, 6, 7, 8 runs to get right.
Excellent.
But,
all right.
Other recipes you usually dial them in after 3 or 4.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else on the oatmeal stouts before we move on?
I just wanted to say, I cracked open that Jackrabbit when their collaboration with Temple Coffee Roasters, and this oatmeal stout with mullish coffee is delicious. I think on some level the coffee is really helping to cut through a little bit of the viscosity and amplify those roasty type of flavors. I really like this a lot. And I feel weird saying this because I feel like I know my coffee and I love my coffee. What the hell is a mullish coffee?
That's I was going to ask you the same thing.
That's like I'm just throwing that out. I only drink mullish coffee. My coffee practices mullism. They're mullish.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah, quite the head on the Bristol here, John. And you've had this one before. You've had the Winter Warlock.
Oh, yes, I do love me a Winter Warlock, yes.
I, too, have had the Warlock, and it was very tasty.
That's right. So, I think I sent some olive oil to you, didn't I?
Yes.
I was Warlock, yeah.
Yes.
That was a good one, huh?
Dimitri is wondering if its coffee is made by the Mullahs. Is that like the fabulous Moolah? Do you remember her? Didn't she dress like the Riddler? Right?
This is a heck of a throwback episode here. Holy cow.
Yeah, but
Multiple
I was thinking,
WWF.
Winter Warlock, shouldn't we be singing like Santa Claus is coming to town? Put one foot in front of the other.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's unless there's anything else, let's let you guys anything else. Last chance.
No.
All right. Let's get John. What, Jeff?
A long time to perfect that recipe, huh? He must really be sick of almond oats. You can't double up on it. It doesn't work the second time around. It's not funny anymore.
The first time around.
Oh, come on. It was classic.
All right. Well, that's the perfect lead into Patreon challenge update. So, if you remember last week, we went on quite a tirade talking about freeloaders and lurkers and everybody else, and how we're setting a challenge for the month of February to go from 18 Patreons to 20 Patreons, 28 days to pick up 2 people, giving us at least $1 a month. So we're going through all this work and fervor for $2 a month. So
there's good news and bad news here, right?
So we announce it. It releases on Friday. On Saturday or Sunday, I'm like, hey guys, we lost a Patreon. So we went down to 17. I was like, we've made a terrible mistake. Now, I will say to the Patreon that dropped, we understand. You could have at least the Patreon had just joined up. He joined on the 2nd of January and dropped on like the 31st of January. So he never actually got billed. So I don't know if we can really count him as a Patreon or not. But so we dropped down to 17. I was like, oh, we've got a lot more work to do. But this week, we need to welcome our new Patreon, Kirsten in Texas. Kirsten, thank you so much for getting us back to 0 level for the challenge in our first week. But Kirsten has signed up as a $1 Patreon. I've reached out to Kirsten. I haven't heard back from her to see why she joined up at this time to help us out. But Kirsten, we sincerely appreciate your help. You'll be getting stuff from us later this week or next week, and look forward to getting part of our after party. You should have access to it already. So guys, welcome Kirsten to the fold.
Yay, Kirsten, thank you so much. To the freeloader that was freeloading that dropped, like, dude, I get it. I've made mistakes too. And honestly, it's not like we're going to like twist your arm and be like, no, man, you made a commitment. Give us that $1. Like, honestly, that's not an issue. The issue is all you other mofos.
If we sent you any swag like stickers and stuff like that, please forward them to Kirsten.
Here's the thing. We see our numbers, and there's a lot of people, oddly enough, there's actually a lot of people that download and listen to this show. A lot of folks.
It's surprising.
It is really weird, honestly. And all I'm saying is, you're telling me 2 of you can't just say, you know what? Let's just throw them $1 just to get them to shut up. You know, with all that we've done for you, get off your ass and give us some money. Just
Dimitri, our good friend Dimitri, watching the show, commenting on the show, playing fantasy football. He's a patron of the show. Dimitri, tell us how incredible it is to be a patron of the We Like Drinking podcast.
Well, he knows. And the benefits, some of those benefits aren't even written. Dimitri is now my best friend. He can't get me out of his life. You know what I mean? Like,
so
think about
his
that.
wedding. We are so crashing his wedding. I mean,
It's on. It's on.
Pause for dramatic effect.
What
Okay.
you're waiting for? He said it's like getting a hat trick every single week.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
he knows. He
All right.
knows.
The
So-
restraining orders in the mail.
Listeners. So we are currently at 18 of the coolest people on earth. We're looking to get to 20. All you have to do is go to WeLikeDrinking.com/pledge or to go to Patreon.com and search for We Like Drinking. You can find out more, find out how to get signed up, and get that $1 a month coming our way. Now, if you do it, if by February 27th we are at 20 Patreons, we are going to release a bonus episode to everybody in the month of March that is made up entirely of listener questions. They don't have to be Patreons, but Patreons will get priority. But with all the hundreds of questions that we will get from that, we will choose the best and we will do an episode that is fully just your questions to us. Anything goes, no topic off the table. Go nuts.
It does not need to be drinking related. Ask us your dating advice. We're all off the market. We live vicariously through you. We'd love to tell you what to do with your lives.
If you have a business that you need advice on running,
if you need
on that,
if you need tips on how to sprack a sick ollie, I could probably read a book and then tell you.
We will be answering all these questions in a Fibonacci sequence.
If you want to access, what is it, Jeff? Some MFK questions, fire them away.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, certainly. We'll do that too. I believe it's FM. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. We'll answer those too, I guess.
So once again, visit WeLikeDrinking.com/pledge or Patreon.com, Patreon, and search for We Like Drinking, and you will get there. And we look forward to welcome you into the fold. All right, let's see where we're at with time.
Welcome to our folds.
All right, guys. What do you think? Do you want to do the?
We got to give it 5 minutes at least.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into booze news. We discuss interesting, noteworthy, or most of the time pretty stupid things. Let's see. There was the State of the Union last night. We could talk about that. Or no, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Not the game, because I don't want to put everybody to sleep. Let's talk about the ads. Let's talk about one specific ad that has got the beer world in all kinds of a tizzy. Bud Light comes to the show with a corn syrup ad, taking their Trojan horse of corn syrup to Miller Lite and Coors Light, with the big reveal that they use corn syrup in brewing their beer and Bud Light does not. Bud Light is the more wholesome, the more natural, the more organic, the less big sugar way to drink beer being the play, which goes right into how they're now going to be starting to put their ingredients on the labels and all this health conscious kick from the boys and girls at AB. So did this sway anybody? Does this mean anything? I wanted to get a discussion going about why the fuck did they even make this commercial? John, I know you've got a lot of thoughts on it, but I want to go to Jeff first. Jeff, if you could part the emo haircut just a little bit so we could see your eyes, that'd be great.
They made the commercial because it was funny. What's not funny is hearing other people run around saying dilly dilly, but the actual commercials are funny. And I really appreciated it. I thought it was very nice. I also liked their little collaboration with Game of Thrones.
That was amazing.
That was a nice commercial too. If I understood how Game of Thrones worked, I think I would have liked it even better. But there's this part that's really interesting that, Budweiser has been taking a lot of shots at craft beverages over the last like 3 or 4 years. And what's interesting now is that they're taking a shot at other macro breweries, and they're saying like, look, mofos, if people care about quality, they got to come to us, right? All these other folks are using high fructose corn syrup, and we're using barley over here. I think that that's a good move. I think it's great. As much as we can harp on Anheuser-Busch and their shitty big business practices of trying to obfuscate the market, you know, I think it's fair to let people know, you know, if you want a big a macro brewed domestic lager made with only the finest ingredients, come over here. And I think that's I think it's fair. And I'd love to see more of that, because I don't think that it's not like anybody's ever bought in a Bud Light and said like, oh, these prices are outrageous. And so I think it's fair to maybe call out Miller Lite and Coors Light as maybe like, you know, taking the easy way out. I think that's totally fair. And I used to be a Coors Light guy, but step up your game, Coors Light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. John?
Well, as far as commercials go, I think that was like 10 seconds too long.
I can say, yeah.
I liked when Coors Light over-explained that they use corn syrup.
That was kind of funny. I mean, that wasn't lost on me either. You know, as far as adjuncts go, and corn syrup's an adjunct, and you can't put corn in the mash, because in order to convert the sugars in corn, you have to raise the temperature to like 180 or 190 degrees or something like that. So okay,
pop.
Yeah, there you go. So they end up using corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup. Yeast don't know the difference. It's a saccharide. They're going to metabolize it and turn it either water and carbon dioxide or carbon dioxide and alcohol, you know, depending on the conditions. Bud, on the other hand, just like their regular beer, they have another adjunct in it called rice. You know, so it's not like, we only use barley. No, we just don't use corn syrup. We use rice, which is crisper, cleaner. It mashes at a lower temperature. You can convert the sugars, you know, at the same pretty much the same temperature as barley. You know, it's macro brewing semantics, if you will. You know, I don't drink light beer, so how would I know the difference about whether one tastes better or not with rice or corn syrup? What's the saying? I don't give a fuck.
I think that is a pretty famous saying somewhere else.
Yeah, so some people have used that, I think, somewhere. So you know, it's not a conversation that really I care about. I do find it somewhat funny that you know everybody's exorcised about this whole thing. You know, the corn farmers, you know, are corn farmers really going to get hurt if you're really going to get hurt, grow rice and sell it to AB. I don't, you know, it's fun to watch that kind of stuff and watch the big boys like beat each other up. I mean, maybe just, you know, leave the craft brewers alone for a while.
Right.
You know, so it was nice. It was nice that Anheuser-Busch didn't, you know, beat up on mustachioed people drinking apricot weed. But oh God, you know, not to mention the fact that it cost them like what, $20 million to air that commercial in the first place.
That commercial, I think they ran it more than once, I think, but I think it was like 3 million, I think, for that commercial.
What did it cost to produce it?
Oh God, it had to cost quite a bit. And that's like, that was kind of my takeaway. I'm like, who is this for? Like, who is this supposed to like resonate with? Because I was like, okay, who cares what form of sugar is going in? It's alcohol and carbon dioxide and heat coming out.
It's the right color, right? It looks like diluted pee when you drink it.
Okay.
And the people who drink those, God love them. But the people that drink that kind of beer, they don't give a shit.
Right. Like, that's my point. Like who's the demo that they're really targeting with that ad? Like, who are they thinking is watching that and being like, wait, what? I can't drink this. I can't drink this Miller Lite anymore. And they throw it on the ground and go and grab a Bud Light because it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it.
I do think it's funny though, like, and I didn't read this, but just hearing you guys talk about how the corn farmers are all in a tizzy. And I never came into the podcasting game to like make enemies or anything like that. But like, if you could be any farmer in these great United States and you are choosing to be a mass production corn farmer, you are like the lowest of the low. As far as farmers go, like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna make a bunch of genetically modified corn and turn it into syrup and put it into every single packaged food product in the world, and you're afraid that a couple of beer drinkers are going to drink a fewer units. Like, fuck you, dude. You're not even a real farmer. If you're a corn farmer, like, get out of here. You're not a real farmer. You're not. You may as well like raise chickens. You may as well raise chickens with like modified breasts that can't even walk and like sleep and roll in their own poop. Yeah, you're the worst.
If those chickens have big breasts and they can't sleep on their stomachs, they got to sleep on their side.
I don't know. I think they like point up while they sleep. I don't know.
Anyway,
but yeah, I'm just trying to make enemies with corn farmers. Come at me, corn farmers,
man, because chickens lay eggs, and eggs go great with dark beer. And we're drinking oatmeal stout, and we were gonna have breakfast.
I might go get breakfast after this show if I have a third oatmeal stout here. So, but because I'm gonna go do that, I'm just gonna end this now and say it's last call.
Last call.
Time to kick everybody out and go to Denny's. Woo! All right. So yeah, it's
hey, where are my moons over Miami? It's 2:30 in the morning and I'm hungry. Excuse me. Can I have a refill on my root beer?
Follow us on the socials. You can find us on Twitter.
Can I have a kids menu?
That's the number one.
I don't want to order from it. I just want one of those masks.
Or on Facebook, also at We Like Drinking. Or you could join us in our private Facebook group on the Tavern called The Tavern. I can't even get a form of sense at this point. Visit welikedrinking.com/tavern to join us. Unless we kick you out, which we haven't done. Don't take that as a challenge, please. Search us up. You can also search up the show on Apple Podcasts and leave us a big fat 5-star review to help other people find out if our show is right for them. And visit welikedrinking.com/pledge to find out more information, because we haven't given it to you enough in this episode about becoming a patron of the show and help us create an episode about all your questions. But knowing you listeners, will probably get 3 questions and it'll be a 10-minute show.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What?
Just keep going.
You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/episodes. Or if you're on your phone, an Android phone, Jeff Solomon, swipe right.
And if you're on an iPhone,
slide down and
poke.
Anything else to add to this shit show, guys?
No.
All right. Well, we've reached a time where I get to say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we go to IHOP. John Ruyak.
I'm just thinking next year, they got that whole Bud Light King thing, and the whole castle gets invaded by a bunch of Mrs. Butterworth bottles because they're just maple syrup, maple flavored corn syrup, right? And just Mrs. Butterworth bottles are just beating the shit out of that Bud Light dude.
I like it. Jeff Solomon.
I hope it wasn't lost on anybody that this is episode 213, so I find it only appropriate. Cut the music. Wait, how's it go? It goes, if you know like I know, you don't want to step to this. It's a G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. And if you smoke like I smoke, then you're high like every day. And if your ass is a buster, 213 will regulate. Man, bring the music back.
Oh, I love our drinking episodes. They are so much fun. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you'll never drink alone.
Don't forget, everybody, next week is World Porter Day.
And we'll be drinking
something else.
Croatian sparkling wine.
Dimitri, next week, the three of us are drinking Croatian sparkling wine. Heads up.
Yeah, they don't use Yorkshire squares to make that stuff.
Yeah, actually look that up. They're actually big cubes of slate.
Oh, wow.
Why don't they call them Yorkshire cubes?
It's the English. What do you want me to say?
They call Yorkshire. We call them squares. But they're cubes, sir. No. One side's a square. And the other side is there's six sides. Well, there's not a top. So it's not a cube because there's 5 sides. It's like a starfish.
You've ever listened to the album Disraeli Gears?
What?
Cream.
Cream.
Disraeli Gears. The very last song is about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and your accent is exactly like that.
Is that the one that goes bang, 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 bang? No, that's something else.
That's Sunshine of Your Love. No, that's Aqualung.
That's Aqualung, yeah.
I don't even know that. That's like Jethro Tull, right?
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang.
Thank you, viewers.
Squares.
Yorkshire. Tune in every week for more of the We Like Drinking hijinks. Next week is World Porter Day or Croatian sparkling wine, whatever you want to bring to the party.
214 is not a prime number.
I'll let it go at that.